This is what I call a duality within a duality. There is an invisible and a holographic duality, inverse to each other. You turn an invisible object outside in, it becomes a holodeck. You turn the holodeck inside out. In most instances, in one certain instance, it is invisible in one certain environment. If you froze the light on it and turned it inside out. So invisible and holographic, though that's an inverse relationship, dual, inverse to each other. And this is a secondary duality, the bound, which I consider the holographic bound of a holographic universe. But then there's also the hologram, the bulk of what exists inside that seems to be untethered to the backdrop scenery. And I'll give a link to my photographic portal model that I'm trying to prove all this with, that there would be a photographic hologram inside the photographic holodeck, which is inverse to the outside invisible shell or whatever. A duality within a duality. I call it a jewel in the lotus, and this is when I got pretty interested into all this again. This is a better picture of what I tried to draw. There's an invisible bound, and I'll give a link to an article that inspired me to go back over this again. It talks about our universe, our de Sitter space, having no boundary. So I refer to it as an invisible bound. And the holographic universe, any de Sitter space, does have a boundary to create the bound and produce the bulk inside, which I'll show. Since the other link is going to talk about, it's going to mainly show the photographic photographic portal model. I'll just say that I'm working on a televisual topology that takes in the mirror worlds that exist between these two portals, the mirror worlds, and their recursion with each other, of going backwards and forwards, or going through each other over and over again to create their virtual selves of Bob and Alice. This is a sort of the dual adaptive telepresence, infinite recursion of telepresence in each other's individual portals. There's only one person to a portal. You can't have two and faithfully render the 3D reality. It has to be telepresent. This is an image illustration of what a telepresence might look like, of the furniture in the holodeck, dual holodeck to the backdrop environment, and the telepresent furniture. These are some images I created to show what a holodeck would look like inside the chamber, and this is a cloaking. This is another picture. This is inside, but this is not really an accurate picture. It has two people in a portal, only one person to a portal. They'll be telepresent in the holodeck. And this is a more faithful. There's Bob peeping out. There's Alice peeping out. And they're in their own individual portals. You have the cloaking light interface. You have the holodeck light interface. Then you have the secondary holodeck light interface. And telepresence. It produces telepresence. And there's three qualities to any kind of portal. There's invisibility on the outside, there's a holodeck on the inside, and then there's a apparently floating photographic or floating virtual or photographic holograms of whatever exists inside. like this furniture that exists inside. And I can prove that with my photographic portal model, which I hope sort of adds evidence to my ideas of a duality within duality. And like I said, I'll post a link to that article that inspired me to do this over today and to explain my duality within a duality better, which I now call nested